He attacked his family, not realizing he is no ordinary guy.
I'll see you next month.
He is the mafia boss who will make their lives miserable on that particular day. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me.
I'll throw you up, you crazy fucking bitch.
Cut it out!
The story kicks off with Thug pulling up outside a place he's crashing at. Just sitting there, he drifts off into a memory from when he was around 9. Some kid at school messed with him, and remembering what his dad always said, don't be a coward, he let the kid have it. Later, his dad gave him a rare nod of approval, saying maybe he wasn't so soft after all. Jumping to the present, Thug's riding with Kyle, who happens to be the spoiled son of mob big shot Charlie Connor. They pull up to a fish warehouse to close a deal. Things go okay until Kyle starts poking around, asking questions that make the supplier nervous. The guy running the place starts mocking Thug, saying he's just a kid playing pretend. One of his guys looks ready to fight, but Thug calmly warns him he'll snap both his shoulders if he tries anything dumb. The supplier laughs it off, and somehow the deal still goes through. Later, Kyle flips out at Thug for mouthing off. Thug brushes it off, thinking Kyle's clueless and in over his head. He tells him straight up, if you want to be a boss someday, start acting like one now. While they're hanging out later, Kyle does a bump of coke. Thug tells him to knock it off, says it'll only make his life messy. After that, Thug stops by this mattress store that's actually a front for Charlie's illegal biz. When Charlie asks about the deal, Thug covers for Kyle, saying it went smooth. Charlie isn't fooled. He tells Thug that Kyle was supposed to be something respectable, like a lawyer, but insisted on joining the family hustle despite not being cut out for it. Charlie gives Thug a new task, but when asked what it was, Thug blanks. To cover, he says he's been having headaches. Later in the car, he jots everything down in a notebook, even reminds himself that Charlie is his boss. He heads to a gym and goes a few rounds with some newbie. He lands punches, but also gets tagged a few times. Afterward, he looks out of it in the locker room. The gym owner reminds him it's time to pay up for protection, so Thug forks over the money and bounces. At his regular bar, he bickers with the bartender over drinks. Then he overhears a couple arguing loudly. Thug tells the guy to take it outside. Dude gets mouthy and tries to act tough. Bad move. Thug lays him out with one punch. The woman freaks, screaming he killed her man. Thug brushes it off and says the guy had it coming. She smirks and asks, so who's taking me home now? Next thing, Thug's at her place. Things get steamy, but she wants to slow things down. Later, they hook up. Lying in bed, she tells him she prefers noise over silence. She notices a tattoo on his arm that says Loopy. Turns out, that was her nickname back in the day. When she asks about it, Thug gets cold, says it was for some other girl. She calls him rude. He finally tells her it was for someone he thought he loved, until he came back with the tattoo and found her in bed with his two buddies. She still thinks it's romantic in a twisted way. The next day, Thug hits the weights at home. Then Charlie calls, tells him to grab a shipment from some shady doc named Gruber. Thug says he knows where to go, but as soon as the call ends, he checks his notebook for directions. Dr. Gruber tries to play games with the price, but Thug shuts it down quick. Before leaving, he asks the doc about his memory issues. Gruber tells him to get checked out ASAP. At the hospital, the news is bad. The doctor says he's got CT, brain trauma that'll get worse fast. She says in a few years, he might not even be able to tie his own shoes. She asks if he has kids, and when he says yes, she tells him he'll need help down the line. Sitting in his car, messed up by the diagnosis, Thug pulls out a gun and thinks about ending it. Just then, a little girl outside flips him off and laughs. That weird little moment snaps him out of it. He calls his daughter, Daisy. She picks up but sounds mad. She wants nothing to do with him. When he asks about his son, but can't remember the kid's name, she's furious. She tells him it's Colin, and that Colin's been dead for 2 years. Shocked, Thug asks why nobody told him. Daisy just says if he can't even remember his own son's name, then why would he care? Later, Thug visits the graveyard, looking for Colin's resting place. Once he finds it, he angrily clears off the headstone and yells at the caretaker for letting it get so dirty. Then he swings by Daisy's place and sees a for sale sign. Out back, he finds her. She's not happy to see him, but he asks to take her out to dinner, says he wants to make things right. She tells him she's got 2 kids now, Katie and Dre. Turns out she was renting and the owner sold the place without notice. Thug tries explaining himself, but Daisy isn't having it. She lays into him, comparing him to the loser dads of her kids. He tries once more to ask them to dinner, but she shuts it down and tells him to leave. That night, Thug dreams his house turns into an ocean and he's floating on his bed like a boat. He sees his dad again, pointing at something, a sound, maybe a memory. The next day, Thug meets a woman who jokes about him being some kind of gangster. They spend the day together in bed. She's got scars and tattoos. Says they're from guys who didn't treat her right. He's got his own scars, too. Reminders of rough days. Suddenly, Charlie calls. Thug's needed in New York. The woman asks for a goodbye kiss. He skips it and just leaves. He and Kyle drive to NYC. Kyle keeps asking what to do, but Thug tells him to let the GPS guide him. When they arrive, Thug tells Kyle to do a sweep around the building. Everything looks clear. Thug picks up a moving truck and they head out. On the road, Kyle gets nervous and asks what's in the truck. Thug says nothing. A cop car pulls up behind them, and Kyle starts to panic. Thug shoves him down, so the cop only sees one guy in the truck. When the cop finally drives off, Kyle threatens to tell his dad that Thug disrespected him. Thug tells him plain, respect has to be earned. Kyle does another line of coke. Thug warns him it'll only mess with his head. They drop the truck off at some house owned by a dude named Gambo. Kyle tries to snoop, but Thug stops him, says they're not supposed to know what's in the back. Then they hear a woman scream. A bloody woman reaches up to Thug's window, begging for help. Before he can act, two guys drag her away. Thug realizes, horrified, that he's been part of a trafficking operation. The blood on his hand makes it real. The next day, he shows up at Dre's school. Dre makes a big play in a football game. Afterward, Thug gives him a fishing reel. Dre wants to stay for another game. Daisy says that's fine, since she has to pick up Katie. Thug tells Dre to keep his word and go home after. He asks why Dre got kicked off the team, and Dre says the coach's kid was running his mouth, so he snapped. Thug tells Dre that sometimes the smartest move is just walking away from stuff that could blow up. Dre asks if that's what landed him in jail, and Thug nods. Yep, he stayed when he should have left. Dre also says his mom thinks Thug bailed on them. Thug doesn't deny it, just sits there quiet. Later, Thug takes Dre to a boxing gym. They watch two guys go it in the ring, then bump fists, and Thug teaches Dre some basic punches. On the way home, Thug tells him to keep the boxing lesson between them. Don't go blabbing to his mom. That night, Thug has another dream about his dad. Wakes up and sees his wound from Erasely is bleeding again. While patching it up, he remembers how his dad used to take him fishing every Sunday. His old man never let him take the boat alone. One time, his dad got arrested and couldn't make bail, so Thug took the boat out by himself. His dad found out, and that was the last time they ever went fishing. Looking at the blood, Thug feels like it's some kind of sign. He goes back to Gambo's place, says he wants to talk to Erasely. She starts undressing, but he stops her. He asks if she's got anyone in the States, says he can call them, but she says they already know. She shows him a picture of her kid and says she owes $20,000 before she can walk free. Thug's heart sinks. He doesn't know how to fix it, so he just leaves, feeling messed up. Then Charlie hits him up, tells him to go squeeze 20 grand out of a priest. When Thug tracks the guy down, the priest freaks out, tries to hide, but hands over the cash and apologizes. Thug asks if he does confessions, but before the priest can say anything, someone blows his head off. That's when Thug realizes someone's out to get him. He takes out two guys, but a third dude with a shotgun traps him. Thug gets in his car, slams it in reverse, and runs the guy down. He drags him out, puts a gun to his head, and makes him spill who sent them, a big guy with a spiderweb tattoo. Then he drives off, leaving him for dead. He drops the cash off at Charlie's place. Charlie asks who's coming after him. Thug says he's got a long list of enemies, but none that would go this far. Thinks these were just small-time muscle. Back at his place, Thug lets a woman in after some back and forth. She spots his CTE diagnosis papers and asks if he's sick. Thug says yeah. She says she thought he was just a drunk. He tells her that's true too. They get real for a bit. Thug opens up about his son Colin, how he died from a heroin OD. Thug admits he probably wasn't there enough after Colin came out. He says whatever this thing is between them, it's not gonna last. Says it's like tossing fire on gasoline. She knows, but says she just wants to enjoy whatever time they've got. The next morning, Thug tells her he's supposed to have dinner with Daisy and the kids and invites her along. But when the day comes, he gets dressed up, waits at the restaurant, and no one shows. He's crushed. She takes him home, holding him while he breaks down. Next morning, while Thug's still asleep, the woman talks to Daisy and spills the truth about his illness. Thug hears it and loses it, screams at her in front of Daisy and Dre. Shocked, the woman and Dre leave. Daisy tells him she didn't show for dinner because he was never really there for them anyway. Still, now that she knows what's going on, she says she'll help him get a new doctor. Feeling like trash, Thug flips out. He starts hitting the walls, calls himself an idiot, punches until his hands bleed. Next day, Daisy and Dre are packing. Thug shows up, asks for a minute with Dre. He stammers out an apology, tells him not to turn out like him. Dre listens but walks away quietly. That night, Thug heads to Charlie's office. He plans to ask for $40,000, half to help erase Lee, half as a down payment on a house for Daisy. His memory's slipping bad, so he rehearses what to say on the way. When he walks in, there's a new guy at Charlie's desk with a spiderweb tattoo. Charlie says he talked to Dr. Gruber about Thug's brain issues. Thug tries to brush it off, but Charlie fires him on the spot. No severance. Nothing. Thug snaps, says he just survived a hit, and Charlie laughs. Asks if he can even remember his own address. Thug can't. Kyle's there too, mocking him, saying maybe he needs help finding the exit. As Thug turns to go, he spots the tattooed guy again, same one tied to the hit. Thug decks him, pulls his gun, and demands answers. He accuses Charlie and Kyle of setting him up. Charlie doesn't deny it. Turns out, he knew about the CTE for a while. Thug tells him to open the safe. Charlie refuses. Thug shoots Kyle in the leg, forcing Charlie's hand. Once it's open, he makes him fill a bag with money and guns. Thug, more disappointed than angry, tells Charlie this is how 30 years of loyalty gets repaid. Holding Charlie at gunpoint, he says, "Let's end it then." Charlie begs him to spare Kyle. Thug shoots Charlie in the chest. He leaves Kyle alive, some kind of final mercy. Later, Thug meets his lawyer Bert, give him a fat stack of cash, and tells him to send a check to Daisy to cover the house. When Bert asks where the money came from, Thug shows Charlie's name scrawled on his hand. Bert gets the picture. Thug's running out of time. Thug shows up at the woman's place. She's wasted, locked in the bathroom, fresh cigarette burns on her arms. He helps clean her up and holds her. She says she's got 30 grand and wants him to stay. Then she passes out. He returns to Gambo's house, planning to pay for Air Raisley's freedom. Gambo laughs in his face, then casually mentions she was killed earlier that day by some client. Like it's no big deal. Thug loses it, orders Gambo at gunpoint to fire his men, gather all the girls in one place, and cough up money. When one of Gambo's guys tries to sneak up with a weapon, a girl screams a warning and Thug shoots him. But Gambo stabs Thug with a hidden blade. Thug hits the floor, bleeding out. Gambo gloats. Then the girl grabs the fallen gun and puts a bullet in Gambo's head. She runs to Thug, who tells her to take the money and go. Barely holding on, Thug calls Dre. Tells him to wait outside, but not to wake his mom. When Thug shows up, he's bleeding badly. He tells Dre that soon, people will say bad things about him. But he hopes Dre understands one day. Thug grabs his hand, leaving it bloody, whispers, "I tried," and tells him to go inside. Instead of heading home, Thug slips into an abandoned house. A wind chime outside sounds like a guitar. As the morning light hits, Thug breathes heavy. The blood won't stop. Final shot? The ocean, quiet and wide, hinting that this was the end.